It's September 28th. I'm at the pool in front of Congress, just to the west of the building. Hang on just a second. And behind me is the Smithsonian Museum to the American Indian. As I stand in front of the museum, I wonder if it'd be a useful exercise to take a look at how many other actual countries or sovereign nations had kings and completely wrote out of the history that they had them, or had them in internal exile. Or that might be an interesting study. It never occurred to me until just now. I mean, I know they want to diss my ancestors, but they were the king and they were the kings and I'm the line. I know we don't have any of that. I should say that was part of my mother's side of the family. My father's side of the family, oh man, they were pretty rotten. I sit and laugh. That's about what I expected. They had a picture of Sherman and wanted to talk about how, hang on a second, wanted to talk about him and the Indian Wars, or the precursors to him, in after the Civil War. No mention that he was the king. Why would they do that? We don't have kings in America. Actually, at the time, he wasn't. He'd been relieved of that, and the daughter was the king while he was still alive. That's how much the Great Spirit did not like Sherman. No mention of anything kingdom, but man, we got all these valid treaties that were signed and sealed with pipe smoke and, you know, whatever, and solemn oaths and whatnot. It's pretty grim. Basically, it's we stole the land fair and square. You know, I look at it today, I go, well, what difference does it make? And it really doesn't make any difference, because the strategy back in the 17th century and the 18th century was to assimilate. Pretty obvious. Oh, did I mention that no treaty was valid? Actually, in fact, since 1637 and the Pequot War. That's around the time when the colonists refused to recognize that there was a continental king. Of course, I'm entitled to get ticked off at everybody's ancestors. It doesn't mean they're rotten. Maybe I'll get the same consideration for some of mine. I'm outside the building with back of me is officially recognized by the land-stealing U.S. government official Indian guy. You know, I mean, this was kind of my cant from almost 20 years ago. Here we are, it's 2017, and we kind of know what the lay of the land is. You know, I had a great whipping boy for a long time. The museum itself is terrible. If I were the curator of this museum, I would tell a very different story. It's an interesting story. They get an F. They really, you know, low F, not even a 59, not even close to that. There was nothing I really liked. It was all mostly shame-feeding stuff. Someday maybe we can come back and talk about what kind of museum there should be. Because if you straighten this stuff out, you know, we got a chance going forward with maybe whatever the next leg is. It's having this stuff all screwed up the way it is. We can't even yell at our ancestors for being a bunch of scumbags. I had some of them back. And the tote bag was $40. One of the most expensive things in the gift shop. Not that I'm surprised. I kind of half expected that in order to pretend to be in business, they make the tote bag really valuable, because you get that as a freebie for being a contributor. You know, when you leave things in the hands of Uncle Tom Toms and the equivalents, that's what I call the official Indians, Uncle Tom Toms. What do you expect?